In January of 2023, I created a pop-up postal service in my neighborhood of Yelahanka Newtown, here in Bangalore, with my friend and co-facilitator Rachel Emanuel and 19 aspiring designers from the Shrishti Manipal Institute of Design. Through this pop-up postal service, we enable the exchange of various types of postcards with the goal of reconnecting an old neighborhood. For example, one of the postcards allowed the residents to exchange their favorite memories of the neighborhood, while another postcard allowed them to exchange and compare family recipes. The housing colony where we ran this project has about 208 houses and was built in the late 1980s as a model suburban neighborhood of Bangalore. We call this project the General Post Office of Yelahanka, Yela GPO for short. As a designer and technologist, I often work with internet-based technologies to build tools and services for communities. But like many, I've increasingly felt how exhausting and limiting online communication can be, even more so since the pandemic. Our communication technologies may have connected us to a global community, but they've done so at the cost of diverting our attention away from our local and personal relationships within our neighborhoods. Our modern preferences for urban dwellings also seem to favor the safety and convenience of gated communities and apartment complexes, which further isolate us from the diversity present within our cities. It is estimated that more than 50% of India will live in cities by the year 2050. With this ongoing shift in where India lives, I can't help but wonder how we're going to design our cities to be more inclusive and tolerant. To be more inclusive and tolerant, one has to overcome their ignorance. And ignorance can be overcome through many different ways of acquiring knowledge. But one of the most effective ways of learning is through conversation and dialogue. It is through deep conversation and dialogue that we overcome our prejudices towards our co-inhabitants. Conversations help break stereotypes and deeply held beliefs about the other. In order for us to shape the future of our cities, we have to find creative ways of conversing with each other within our urban environments. And creating such safe spaces for exchange is crucial to the idea of building plural neighborhoods and cities, and thereby nations. With digital fatigue being prevalent today, we knew that we had to create an exchange that was a lot slower and yet expressive in comparison to our online alternatives. Postcards seem like a perfect fit because they're rife with nostalgia. And we felt that this made them a sticky enough medium that would help generate expressive responses between the residents. We all feel special when we receive a postcard or a handwritten letter. But what is it about this way of communicating that makes us feel this way? I believe it's something to do with the time and effort it takes to thoughtfully compose a letter or a hand-drawn postcard. Knowing that someone spent a fair amount of time doing these things just for us makes us feel that much more special and connected. Such thoughtful and deliberate actions are not lost on the receiver and open up a space for genuine reflection and communication. Creating a postal service from the ground up meant that we could design interactions that went beyond just exchange of a postcard between a household, between a receiver and a sender. For example, we could connect two houses at random as a way of introducing chance and serendipity within the exchange. We used such opportunities to design 3 postal exchanges in a span of 3 weeks. First, we designed a postcard that enabled the exchange of memories between the residents of the neighborhood. We chose to work with memories and nostalgia because we felt it would help kickstart an intimate conversation between the residents based on common memories of the neighborhood. The design of the postcard was evocative and used familiar images of the neighborhood. For example, a defunct playground, and a large rain tree. Since this was the first time we were introducing the project to the residents, we also designed an invite to go along with this postcard. Now, we had to deliver these postcards to 208 houses, which was a humongous task. But we split ourselves into area-specific groups and used an online spreadsheet as well as WhatsApp to further coordinate our delivery and pickup schedules. We received about 150 memories from the neighborhood. Memories of the neighborhood when it was a quaint locality with beautiful lakes, mango groves, and only 2 daily bus services to the city. It took us a whole week to run the first experiment, right from designing the postcards to printing them and then to delivering and picking them up. This laid the groundwork for the next 2 postal exchanges that we carried out. How can we talk about connecting neighborhoods without talking about food? For many of us, food is quite central to our identity, and often recipes are exchanged between households and families. We wanted to leverage this behavior to design the next postal exchange. We created postcards that would enable the exchange of recipes of sambar, which is a lentil stew, and payasam, which is a wet pudding. We chose these recipes not only because they're staple, but also because every household has a slightly different way of preparing them. And through this, we wanted the residents to feel a sense of togetherness, while contrasting and comparing how many different ways there are for making these staple dishes. The design of the postcard was like a bingo card where you could circle the ingredients as well as write detailed instructions. And the exchange was designed in such a way that you would also receive a recipe in return. We received about 60 recipes from the residents. And in this way, we have a small archive of how to prepare sambar or payasam in 60 different ways, all from a neighborhood of 200 houses. How telling is that of the diversity present within our neighborhoods? For the last and the final postal exchange, we wanted to connect people based on their hobbies and interests in order to help introduce them to new friends and possibly also form special interest communities within the neighborhood. We chose to work with people who are interested in gardening. We designed postcards that would enable the exchange of seeds across the neighborhood. The postcard contained these sachets where you could insert seeds as well as plant cuttings and then submit it to the post office. The post office would then pick them up and in return give you another postcard from a random garden within the neighborhood. We received about 40 odd responses from the neighborhood. And in a small way, we feel that the post office helped cross-pollinate the neighborhood. We were able to carry out these 3 postal exchanges because we essentially built a small-scale postal service from the ground up, complete with our own bilingual postcards, instructional material, as well as delivery and pickup schedules. And all of this was possible because of a star team of designers who created and ran this project for 3 weeks. We invited the residents to an exhibit where displayed all the responses at a local park within the neighborhood. In conclusion, we used the postal exchange as a creative framework to enable an exchange of ideas and resources in a community. But you can do this too. Perhaps you can think about how you will enable an exchange of ideas and resources to strengthen your community. What I would like you to take away today is that envisioning spaces for creativity and expression within our neighborhoods can possibly help us make our neighborhoods that much more inclusive and tolerant. Thank you.